Hey, what's going on, Enrique? My name is Jack here with Mr. and Mrs. Leeds. Thanks for trying out the site audit. I hope you got some insight out of that. I wanted to follow up here and do a video analysis of your website and see kind of exactly where you were at in terms of your SEO and how we would be able to help you if we were to start this campaign. Now, I understand I did a little bit of homework before I did this recording, and it's a very new website. And from an SEO perspective, there's going to be a different approach as to how we rank you in terms of for the organic searches for the keywords we want to capture. And it's going to be different than if we were to go after a website that's already been established. The reason being is currently in Google's algorithm, there's a portion of that algorithm where basically new websites have a hard time ranking for the keywords immediately. It's just something that's cooked into the algorithm right now. And in order for us to kind of circumvent that and kind of get around this situation, we need to make sure that we do all the things that Google's looking for to start ranking you. Because if you don't do that correctly, and if you just start sending links to your website, and I'll talk about that in a sec, to your website right off the bat, Google's going to flag it. They're going to think that it's unnatural, and they're going to penalize your website for at least a year before you can actually start seeing organic searches come into your website and then start ranking for that kind of thing. In Google's eyes, what they realized was that a lot of kind of search marketers and people that knew how to like work Google's algorithm were basically creating a bunch of new websites, and they were making like 10 websites at a time, and they were doing all the SEO stuff that Google was looking for, and then ranking at the first page of Google like 10 websites immediately because of the fact that they didn't have this filter for new websites. And so Google added this filter, but there's also kind of a workaround around it and with it, as long as you stay kosher with what Google's looking for. Now, going back to the links that I was talking about, if you see right here in this tab, you see that there's 8 backlinks and 1 referring domain. Basically, what a backlink or referring domain is, it's any link, any hyperlink that a website links back to your website. Let me try this again. It's any website out there on the internet that links back to your website via a hyperlink. So if, for example, there is a blog out there that's called the musicstudioblog.com, and they mention your website in a new post and they say, hey, if you're looking for the best recording studio, check out solidartstudios.com. And if the person clicked on that link, it would direct them to your website. And so the fact that that blog in this example is linking back to your website is considered a backlink, and Google actually tracks all these backlinks, and they use that information to determine how authoritative your website is. And authority, in turn, plays a key and integral role in determining how highly you rank for the keywords you want to rank for and how quickly you rank for those kinds of keywords. And so essentially what we want to do when we build out your website is we want to make sure that we build the authority on your website, but we don't want to make it unnaturally so where it's a new website and suddenly you have a ton of authority on there, right? In Google's eyes, that just doesn't make any sense. And so what we need to do is we need to make sure that we layer in things that an ambitious business owner might do. So what I mean by that is an ambitious business owner would go out there, and when they create a new website, they would go out there and create like a Facebook page. They would go out there and create a Twitter page, LinkedIn, Instagram maybe, that kind of thing, and then they're gonna get people to like share it, post it, they're gonna tell all their friends to like it, go check out the website, and all that kind of stuff. And what that does is, because Google tracks all these social metrics as well, it shows Google that it makes sense for you to start getting these links and authority to your website if there's people that are talking about it. If you start building the authority on your website and there's no one really talking about it, but you suddenly start getting these authority links pointing to your website, Google's going to find that kind of weird, and they're going to flag it, and then, like I said, they're going to penalize you. And so that's essentially what we have to do with your website. We need to make sure that we hit it with social signals like the likes, shares, that kind of thing. We need to make sure that we create all the social profiles if you haven't done that so already. And then we need to layer in certain things in the search marketing field. We like to call it pillow links, but essentially what it is, it's like things like press releases. It's natural, like I said, for a business owner or company to go out there as soon as a website is created to start sending out press releases to get the name out there and to start getting backlinks and things like that. And so that's the kind of thing that we want to do and layer that in with building that authority. And we want to take it a little bit slower than we do with a already established website, because that's just what you got to do. And then after that, after a couple months, then we kind of increase the velocity of the links that we're sending to your website and just build it out that way. All right. So that's kind of an overview of exactly the methodology as to how we would go about ranking you for all the different keywords we want to go after. Now I need to talk about some of the keywords that are out there and how feasible it might be to actually rank for this kind of phrase. So you might be able to see right here, Recordio studio. Not a word. Recording studio. You got Wikipedia right here, so it means that there's going to be some decent competition, and then you have a lot of local searches that are going to be um, probably dominating the mobile phones and things like that. The good news is with the Recording Studio actually gets a ton of search volume of 22,000 per month. And then it's got a keyword difficulty of 12. Now, keyword difficulty is a measure that Ahrefs came up with. It's on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being the hardest. With a keyword difficulty of 12, it's actually very feasible for us to rank you down the line, but it's not going to be one of those things where the keyword difficulty is like between 0 to 6, and we can rank you very quickly for it. So it's still going to take us time, but it's very feasible for us to rank you for the keyword Recording Studio as we start building out your website. Now, the one thing that we have to consider when we're doing this is also kind of go after some of these longer tail keywords that might not necessarily have as much search volume as the Recording Studio, but has a lot less competition. So let me see if I can find a good one here, an example. That's not going to work. Music Recording Studio. Music Recording Studio right here. No, that's got a 12 keyword difficulty. Okay. Recording Studio Furniture. Okay, so I'm going to have to go into our research. I'm going to have to use a couple of other tools to pull up some other keywords. But essentially, like if for example, we wanted to go after this phrase, OBS Studio Best Recording Settings, what we know is that we get 500 searches per month. And look at this keyword difficulty. It's got a keyword difficulty of 1, which means that we can rank you very quickly for this kind of keyword. And that's essentially what we want to do. We want to build out a keyword set that we want to go after. Obviously, we want to talk to you, so the kind of SEO work that we're doing aligns with what you're looking to do with your business and your company and your goal. And then hash out that keyword set and start working on our SEO efforts, specifically targeting the keywords that we want to capture. All right. So in order to capture some of those keywords and things like that, like this is actually really, really cool website design, and it's super catchy, and I really like it. The one thing that we're going to run into is that there's not enough content on. We can actually help you rank for like Dallas Music Studio too, but actually that would be actually a perfect example. But anyways, the issue that we're going to run into with a website like this is Google can't read images, right? So Google can't look at this and say, wow, this is a really badass photo image of a recording studio, and these guys are professional and these guys are legit. Unfortunately, Google's algorithm isn't at that point yet. But what Google's algorithm can do is actually read content, right? So they got spiders and crawlers that crawl through the hundreds of millions of websites that are out there, and they use that information to basically figure out exactly by reading that content exactly what your website is about. And within that content, we're going to layer in the kind of the keywords that we want to capture, because that's how we're going to start ranking you for those keywords. Because our job as an SEO company is to basically help Google understand exactly what your website is about, have all the kosher elements that Google's looking for, as well as let Google know exactly what keywords we want to go after, right? And so that's essentially what I will do. What we would do. I'll wrap it up here, but at the very least, I hope you got some insight out of this. SEO is a very, very tricky field. It's a great opportunity. I mean, like, it's one of those things where you guys are extremely good at your craft, right? You're extremely good at mixing music, knowing how to do all the little buttons, dials, and making sure that the phaser, whatever, all that sounds good. Like, that's essentially what I've done with my skills and my talents, right? I just sit here and I just listen to other people talk. I implement and I test, and it's like mixing music, right? And I try this and that, and then I learn from it, and I've become an expert. I've become a very knowledgeable person in this field that understands exactly how Google's algorithm works. And it kind of makes sense for us to align our goals that way, because you can focus on building out your business and the DJ side of it, and then we can focus on making sure that the marketing and the internet side of it works well for it too. All right, so I appreciate it, Enrique. I hope this gives you at least a little bit of insight, and I look forward to talking to you. So, all right, to you soon. All right, thank you.